Mr. Beast is one of the most popular YouTubers of all time, and now he has brought Amazon one of their most watched shows of all time. It's a reality competition that has actually broken dozens of Guinness World Records for amounts of money given away. Let's talk about Beast Games. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the reality competition show Beast Games. This just wrapped up season 1 on Amazon Prime. The first couple of episodes dropped right around Christmas, and then they were doing one a week after that. So all 10 episodes are now up, and you can check these out in binge fashion on Amazon Prime. Before we get into the specifics of the show and my thoughts on it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are one of my Dan Reviews It subscribers already, thank you so much for that. Love having you guys return, and you probably already know then what a game show enthusiast I am. On the homepage, there is a playlist for all of my recent game show reviews that you can check out. There's, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 up there for primetime game shows, syndicated game shows, and streaming game shows like this that you can check out my reviews for. But listen, if you're not one of my subscribers, please consider subscribing down below there and click that notification bell too, so you get the alerts for all my video drops. Or you can just like this video, comment below, and share it on your socials. That stuff, of course, helps the channel out too. All right, so look, I know who Mr. Beast is. I am familiar enough with his celebrity and the kinds of videos he does, but I have to admit I haven't really seen much of his stuff. I know there's a channel now dedicated to Mr. Beast programming on, I think, Tubi. Are they the ones that have it? It's one of those free services. They have like a whole Mr. Beast channel, and they run ads for it all the time. If you're watching another show on their platform, so I am very familiar with who Mr. Beast is, but I can't say that I've ever really watched his content until now. So it's Jimmy Donaldson is his real name, but he goes by Mr. Beast, so we'll refer to him as such. And this is a reality competition show in the same spirit as sort of Squid Games. Nobody gets murdered, but Squid Games was kind of his inspiration for this, and he's been pretty honest about that. In fact, he did a couple of Squid Game-inspired videos on his channel previous. And in conjunction with this, when the first couple of episodes dropped showing the 1,000 people that are in competition here for this $5 million, he put some other content on his own channel where he actually whittled it down from 2,000 to 1,000 with a bunch of mini games with that. So this has, kind of layers upon layers here of gameplay, and eventually we get down in the final episode to 6 remaining contestants, and then whittle those down, of course, to what will be the final 2 people. So yeah, this thing is broken apparently 44 Guinness World Records. Most of them in terms of different money things. For example, the most prize money turned down on a competition show because he offered several different times $1 million, and some people turned it down. The largest physical cash prize on set, the most money won in a single episode of a competitive reality show. So the records, continue on because this show almost seemed like it had no boundaries with money. And in the last 2 episodes, or maybe just the last episode, Mr. Beast sort of intimated that this was his own money he was giving away, which I can't really imagine that's true. But if it is, it was probably built into the contract because he struck up a $100 million deal with Amazon to produce this. So yeah, I guess in theory it's his money, but it's really Amazon's money that they just sort of piled on, and he decided to give more of it away, maybe, throughout the course. But yes, there are millions and millions and millions of dollars given away on this show because all throughout, he's offering bribes, and he's, trying to get people to destroy their competition, and kick them out of the game if they take a lump sum of sometimes it's $1 million and sometimes it's less, whatever. But even in that first episode, the very first contest, he's offering people money to just leave. If you if you don't think you can make it to the end, just leave, and you'll however many people choose to do that will split. I think it was $250,000 or whatever. So there's games like that throughout. They are not necessarily kid games like in Squid Games. Like, they're not playing a red light, green light and stuff, but they are mind games, and in some instances, people have to sort of create their own method of. Who's going to be eliminated. Like in one episode, I think it's episode 3, maybe, they're in these little pods of 3, and one person needs to decide to eliminate themselves. And how do they do that? Well, a lot of them decide, oh, well, let's play cards, or let's roll dice or whatever. So they can maybe take it upon themselves to play a more kid oriented game, to eliminate if they have to or whatever. But there are games of chance, there are games of strength, there are games for the mental capacity. So it takes all kinds. And to be honest, I think this is a pretty riveting show. And I enjoyed watching it. I binged the whole thing in, I guess, over the course of 3 or 4 days. I will say, probably the once a week method is better for this, because when you binge it, the first like 5 minutes of each episode is basically just recapping the last few minutes of the last episode, because every episode ends on this big cliffhanger. It's not just like, okay, here's, we're finished the game for this episode, now we'll go to the next episode and play a completely different game. No, most of these shows, or most of these episodes end in the middle of a game, or it towards the end of the game, but something's about to happen, and then you have to wait until the next episode for it to happen, but then they recap it for like 5 minutes. So if you do decide to binge it like I did, just kind of fast forward those first few minutes, because you'll have just seen what happens. But here's the thing. I find Mr. Beast himself kind of annoying. Look, I get it. He is a very loud, boisterous, over the top kind of person. I can see why he built this empire, and why his videos have become so popular or whatever. But there's a lot of just like yelling in this show. Like he screams pretty much everything he says. Now look, sometimes there's hundreds of contestants that he has to kind of get the word out to. So yeah, maybe he's on a microphone kind of yelling or whatever. But even when he's talking right to the camera, he seems to be just yelling everything he says. So that gets a little annoying. And then there's the reactions from the contestants, because of course, there's a lot of money on the line that they don't want to lose. So there's a lot of crying and a lot of screaming through them, and in fighting and stuff. That stuff I can sort of do without. I am more here for sort of the mind games, and how people tick, and what they're willing to do to keep themselves in the game, to help others in the game, to not help others in the game. That's the kind of stuff that I'm sort of here for. Because I do find Mr. Beast sort of annoying in that regard. So don't necessarily love that. Also, in another sort of way of him being annoying, he overstates things that don't need to be said. Like something so super obvious will happen. Like a contestant will make a super obvious choice, and he'll blow it up like, oh my god, I didn't see that coming, and we'll spend 2 minutes about how he didn't expect that and all this. And it's like, anybody watching could see that that's where this was going. So I don't love him as a host, but I do understand. I get it. Why he has become so popular. Obviously the games here, I think, are the reason to tune in. I mean, look, if you love Mr. Beast, then he's maybe another reason to tune in. But for me, I really liked, kind of the gameplay, watching people make these decisions and see how it worked out. It's a little cruel and sadistic at some points, for sure. But look, there is a lot of money on the line. So I think that's always how these types of shows are going to work. Survivor kind of gave us the template of that 25 years ago, and everybody else has sort of been kind of, cherry picking some of the finer points of that and putting them in their own show, everything from the Traitors to the Amazing Race and all of that. So this relies on some of those themes, which we've seen. But I do find the gameplay interesting, and I think the manner of games is also fairly interesting, because you have these different skill sets, whether it's strength or mental acuity or whatever, or just sheer randomness. That certainly happens too. And in terms of the randomness, I do actually feel like a lot of it is random. I mean, I'm not behind the scenes, but it doesn't seem overly produced like some of these reality shows are. I think it's very well edited too. That's something very important when you have this many contestants. And I do think that's maybe a detriment. And I said this when they had the live action Squid Games on Netflix like a year ago to tide us over between seasons. They did like a real life Squid Game kind of thing. And when you have that many competitors, when you have 1,000 competitors to start out with in this show, you can't really keep track of all of them. It wasn't until probably episode 8 or 9 that I even sort of was noticing, okay, this person, has done this, and they'll, show you things, clips, from previous episodes to remind you who this person is. But when you start out with 1,000 people, 950 of them are going to be, completely unmemorable. But anyway, I think this is a good but not great reality competition show, certainly taking from some of the greats. Mr. Beast, a little annoying for my taste. I will leave Beast Games with a B minus. Obviously, there's going to be a second season of this because Amazon loves it. No word yet, officially, but it's been given them some of their highest ratings ever. So that certainly bodes well. All right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It, and I'll see you next time.